Hello dear fans, friends and subscribers. Once again, I'll have to go through this spiel once again here as basically we are talking about the week in cricket that happened and talking about it New Zealand versus Sri Lanka which was played at Galle, the first test of the ICC World Test Championships. New Zealand were bowled out for 249 batting first, and Ross Taylor was the mainstay of the New Zealand team. He made 86, but Akila Dhananjaya, the left-arm spinner, was the one. As I said, on the first day itself, the ball was really turning and it was not a good sign at all. And Akila Dhananjaya, the left-arm spinner, picked up all the 5 wickets to fall on the first day. Ross Taylor was the highest scorer with 86 with 6 boundaries, and Nichols made 42. 249 all out. Suranga Lakmal cleaned up everything on the next day by showing some good exhibition of swing bowling. He picked up 4 wickets for 29, and Sri Lanka, replying to that, were bowled out for 267, thus giving a slender lead to the Kiwis of 18 runs. Taking an 18 runs lead over the Kiwis. Here it was 39 from Karunaratne, Gujarat Mendes making 53, Angelo Matthews 50, but Niroshan Dickwala was the one who actually took them out of crisis, because at one stage at 161 for 7 it looked like New Zealand were going to go through the Sri Lankan batting lineup. It didn't happen. Niroshan Dickwala he actually eschewed his natural aggressive stroke play and decided to, he's an unorthodox batsman as you know, but definitely showing signs of maturity, showing more responsibility, shouldering it and making 61 valuable runs, I thought, with 3 boundaries. Lakmal always, he's always been someone who can always be considered to bat a bit, and that's what precisely he did. He contributed 40, 3 fours and 2 sixes. As far as the Sri Lankan bowling was concerned, was the other spinner this time. New Zealand was Ajas Patel, the left-arm spinner, doing what Akila Dhananjaya did for Sri Lanka by picking up 5 wickets for 89, 3 wickets for 83 for Somerville, the right-arm offie, and 18 runs lead. New Zealand on their second innings were bowled out for 285, the highest scorer being B.J. Watling. Now B.J. Watling, what a player he has turned out to be for New Zealand. Can you believe it? He's just, I would say, a few runs shy of overtaking Brendan McCullum, the retired and one of the great wicketkeeper batsmen from New Zealand, as the highest scorer of runs in test matches as a wicket-keeper batsman for New Zealand. And Watling made 77 with 6 boundaries. He really is the one who actually held the innings for them, and he got good support today from the offie and all-rounder, off-spinning all-rounder Somerville, who contributed an unbeaten 40. It was good to see that he has the batting ability, and he also saw that he could actually wear the Sri Lankan bowlers out by consuming 118 balls, and that was something which was very direly needed, and Somerville did that to a T. 285 all out, thus setting the Sri Lankans a target of 268 runs for victory. The bowling, Embuldiniya went on to pick up 4 wickets for 99 runs, 2 wickets to Lahiru Kumara, and Dhananjaya De Silva picking up 3 wickets for 25. And Sri Lanka, one thought that probably, with the turn on the pitch, Sri Lanka is going to find it difficult. One thought that Sri Lankans batting last on this pitch are going to really find it difficult. But one has to say it was really surprising to see, even without the sun not shining brightly and on a cloudy day, the Sri Lankan openers definitely negotiated the pace well of Trent Boult and Tim Southee, but there was more of the spin, and as we understand that, and I thought they played the spinners well. And also one surprising thing that one noticed, one would have probably expected the pitch to actually crack on the 4th day, but it was not the case. The pitch flattened a bit towards the end, and it finally ended up with the Sri Lankan openers raising a record 133 for none at close of play on the 4th day, with Karunaratne, the captain, not out on 71 with 2 boundaries, and Lahiru Thirimane not out 57 with 4 boundaries. But 268s were definitely coming into the final day. The Sri Lankans are definitely in for the victory. unless the pitch changes drastically tomorrow in the final. I'm expecting something to happen on the final day, as it normally happens. And the Sri Lankans were very well placed, just 135 runs to win the first test match. Definitely favorites, no doubt about it. But probably if probably like today, how the pitch flattened, if there could suddenly start some cracks developing on the pitch and some footmarks could be used by the spinners, it could probably end up in an interesting session or interesting final day, where there will be a good battle between bat and ball, which everyone is waiting for. But nevertheless, definitely Sri Lanka looking like winning the first test match and taking the 1-0 lead in the ICC World Test Championship, the first test match. So that is one thing. The second thing that we are going to talk about is we are getting into the Ashes Test Series, which started this week between England and Australia, and we are talking about the second test match that was happening. And before I really get into it, I have to say about an incident that happened today in cricket, which really gave cricket a rude jolt, no doubt about it. There were two people involved in that. There was a bit of hype going on between before the test match, when Jofra Archer was making his test debut, about the battle between two players. One was Jofra Archer with his pace and bounce. As you know, he's a fiery customer. And the other end, it was Stephen Smith, the Australian batsman who has dominated this particular Ashes Test Series all ends up, by all means. And today too he did that. He made 92. But one of the incidents that really jolted cricket today was the fiery pace of Jofra Archer, first bruising Stephen Smith on his forearm with a lifting delivery, and then coming back again and stirring him up in such a manner in that particular over, and then finally hitting him on the back of the neck, which felled Smith on the ground. Suddenly, as I said, everything came to a standstill. Players were all worried in the balconies, and as this was something which was really going back to the day when Philip Hughes of Australia was felled by a bouncer by Abbott, as you would remember, and one started getting into that. But by God's grace, we saw that Stephen Smith was not unconscious. He was conscious, but it was a big blow. And then slowly the England players came to him, which was to be expected, and then finally went back and then came back, and finally, as I said, he was already being stirred up by Jofra Archer. His wicket was gone. He was once again the highest scorer for Australia with 92 runs to his credit. So, but I'm going to talk about this game which has happened. So this was the incident that I wanted to cover in the initial stage, because that was the centerpiece of the action today in the Ashes Test Series. Now let's talk about this particular game. So this match is being played at the second test of the championship at the Lord's Cricket Ground, the Mecca of English cricket. And England were the ones who actually batted first on this particular pitch, and they were bowled out for 258. Rory Burns making a 53 with 7 boundaries, and then we had Jonathan Bairstow getting a 50 in England after quite a long time, 52 with 7 boundaries. Chris Woakes making 32. Other than that, there was not much really to talk about, as 258 all out for the Englishmen batting first. And the wickets were grabbed by Cummins. Hazelwood bowling very well and showing what a tough customer he would be. 361 for Cummins, 358 for Hazelwood, and Nathan Law in the Radha Murphy picking up 3 wickets, and besides going past the great Dennis Lilly's record of 355 test wickets. What a bowler Nathan Lyon has been for Australian cricket. As far as Australia are concerned, in their reply, they were bowled out for 250, but as I said today, this incident from Stephen Smith once again showing what a masterful cricketer he is, as he made 92 with 14 very, very well-timed boundaries. Australia, if you look at the card there, Khwaja making 36. He got some support from Cummins and Payne, a very brief support, but Stephen Smith was the one who was leading the lone battle, and thanks to Stephen Smith, Australians reached 250, thus only conceding a very small 8-run lead to England in the first innings. Stuart Broad went on to pick up 4 for 65, 2 for 59 for Jofra Archer. He also, as you know, Jofra Archer is maiden test victim, being Cameron Bancroft, where when Archer took the maiden test wicket, it was absolutely ecstatic and no doubt about it. And finally, Archer picking up 2 wickets for 59 at the end of the day, one wicket for 19 for Leach. And England were in trouble. 8 runs on. They were 96 for 4 at close of play. They did not. Cummins actually dealt them a double blow when first he picked up Jason Roy, tried to flick the delivery and spooned it in the air. Cummins taking the catch. He was gone for 2, and in the very first ball, the England captain was dismissed for a golden duck, as Joe Root actually got a ball from Cummins, a very good delivery, one thought, and actually Joe Root edged the delivery. It was a perfect length ball outside the off stump. Root pushed forward, and the edge going into the hands of Payne behind the stumps, and that was a big wicket, and England were in real trouble there, 2 wickets down. And then we saw Rory Burns and Joe Denley slowly trying to steady the ship, but only to a brief extent. After that, we saw Siddle getting into the act and picking up 2 wickets, as he picked up the wicket of both the batsmen who were slowly settling in. He picked up the wicket of Rory Burns, who was caught behind the bowling of Siddle for 29, a snorter really, and Burns, before he could actually get his bat out of the firing line, he had got a sort of a tickle onto it, and it was the end of Rory Burns. Scott Payne bowled Siddle for 29 with 3 boundaries. After that, we had Joe Denley just before close of play. He was also sent back to the pavilion once again by Peter Siddle, as Siddle actually he was trying to drive the delivery, and he was caught and bowled by Peter Siddle himself. As finally, when play was once again stopped due to rain, England had 96 for 4 on the board. Stokes was not on 16, Butler was not on 10. 96 for 4 essentially meant that they were 104 runs ahead. Now it will be very interesting to see what England do. England 104 runs ahead. We are getting into the final day tomorrow. Whether England, I won't be surprised, but again, it would be a sort of a risk that they were taking. Probably they have to play till tea time. So I don't think there is much result possible unless England really start getting into the aggressive vein and start getting as much runs as possible and then declaring. But I think on this particular track, it is something that probably won't happen. But let's see whether we have some real entertainment coming up. But nevertheless, that's the match situation at the Lord's Cricket Ground. The other thing that I would like to share on this particular cricket show is the Indian captain Ravi Shastri, who was the Indian coach for the World Cup 2019, has been retained as the coach for the till the 2021 T20 World Cup, which would be happening in India itself. He had there were other coaches also who had actually tossed their hat into the ring. We had Hesson, the most successful former New Zealand coach. We had Tom Moody, the Australian coach. The coach is from Australia, but he has coached a lot of other teams. He also coaches IPL, as we all know. And then we had Simmons actually pulling off the most successful coach of the Afghanistan cricket team. And then we had Lalchan Rajput, the former Indian opener, and also sort of a coach of the I reckon he was a coach of the Zimbabwe cricket team, and now he's the coach of the Afghanistan cricket team. So he was also there. But Ravi Shastri was the one who actually came up trumps. And as you know, Virat Kohli, the Indian captain, definitely said that he was really backing Ravi Shastri. But it has been already told in the media that it is not because Virat Kohli backed up Ravi Shastri that he got the post. It was all on his own merit, as the judges who were presiding, or probably the the cricket, like Kapil Dev, the former Indian World Cup 1983 captain. Kapil Dev was a part of it. Anshuman Gaikwad, the former Indian opener and coach. Anshuman Gaikwad was a part of that. And also former wonderful women's cricket player. Her name is Shanta Rangaswamy. She was also a part of it. This was the cricket committee, which was recognized this time by the Board of Control for Cricket in India, and they were the ones who actually did the selection. So good luck to Ravi Shastri. As he said, he has been named as the coach of the Indian cricket team for till the 2021 T20 World Cup. Other than that, I have just one small news to cover before I leave the show here. West Indies, West Indies and India, as you know, they played in the one-day internationals. India actually cleaning up the West Indies in the ODI series. They won the series 2-0 with one being truncated, one being washed out. Indians today were playing a warm-up game today against the West Indies A team, and the Indians finished at 200 and I'm just going to give you the score here. Indians finished at 297 for 5. Pujara getting a century, which is good to see. 8 4s and 1 6. Rahul 36, 12 to Mayank Agarwal. Ajinkya Rahane was cheaply dismissed for 1. Rohit Sharma making 68, 37. Hanuma Vihari was not out there. Pant making 33. That was the situation as far as the bowling was concerned from the West Indies A team. I can definitely tell you there's not much names, known names in the camp there, but Harding, Carter, Carter at 3 for 59, 1 for 63 for Akeem Fraser. So that is the match situation. So basically, I had the pleasure of talking to you all after a long time on this cricket show, but tomorrow being a Sunday, I would definitely be there with you all to talk on cricket, and definitely we'll be covering the New Zealand Sri Lanka game, and also I'll be talking on the final day in England versus Australia second test match as well. So this being said, it's about time for me to bid you all a very good night by promising you that I'll be back in business once again. Thank you.